Hi, I'm Josh Bell with the Miami Marlins. I wear NeuroGuard to help with strength and coordination when I'm in the weight room, and help with balance when I'm on the baseball field.
One of the most comfortable, reduces concussion, increases performance. You can't get a mouthpiece like that on the market.
Not only is it a great product, it's super easy to use. I recommend it for any player, any age, at any level. Thank you guys so much, and go check out NeuroGuard Plus.
NeuroGuard mouthpiece makes it easier to breathe while playing basketball. The unique design is not as bulky as any other mouthpiece and makes you feel safe in concussions.
NeuroGuard. They control my breathing while I'm riding. It stops me getting concussions while I wreck. It's very easy to use, so go pick one up today.
I'm still doing stunts. And the concussions I've got, I feel much safer with that. I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing a whole lot better in the gym. So NeuroGuard Plus, once this one wears out, you've got a customer for life, because I'm telling you people, NeuroGuard Plus is the way to go, and me, Mark Ash, says so.
Parents, kids, coaches, NeuroGuard. It's the future. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody, now's the time. Brown right, motion, tailback slant. Let's put the women and children to bed and go looking for fun, all right? On one, ready? Go, 13! Coming up, go, 13!
Week 8 of the high school football season. Hello, everybody. Terry Bennett, Grant Goodwin here, sideline to sideline. Now, if you can tell, because you're going to see it in the title, we're doing all classes in one show tonight. This will be the last time we do it till the state semifinals, but man,
I don't know. Maybe I'll say we'll do it next week.
All right, we're going to do 70 games next week for each classification.
Yeah, so never mind.
We'll be.
I don't want to work that hard.
That's why we're doing one show. But in the last week of the big bye weeks, where the teams take them as a district, as a mass, it's just easier this way. And I mean, this is kind of the last week, honestly, of the. I don't want to say light shows, but I mean, it starts getting serious for us next week with it being week 9. I mean, we're talking about there'll be teams this week that are clinching and being eliminated from the playoffs, but especially starting next week. And then, of course, the playoffs. So we're just taking the chance for this one time or this one night to do one show.
Big ones in 3A that decide the state district championships, I feel like.
This week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, and there'll be some others in all the classes, but yeah, in fact, we'll be at one. We're going to be going to Paradise for.
Man, my allergies are going nuts right now.
Is that what this is? Your allergies?
Allergy to wheat and barley and malt.
I mean, where would you find all that? Like, I don't know.
It's in the air naturally, I think.
Is that why I'm always walking around kind of buzzed? It's just in the air naturally.
Right. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Oh, hell yeah. That would be great.
Even if you're a teetotaler, you can still get a buzz if it's in the air.
Secondhand.
Like Coach X.
Hey.
We're
about to do a segue.
Are we?
You said Coach X. And the 2A world, y'all get to hear about Coach X. I mean, y'all hear about him, but y'all actually get to hear what Coach X has to say. And
well, we're all excited about that. Woo-hoo.
I think you're gonna like this one.
Really?
I feel like.
How many of my mama references?
None.
None?
No, I don't think
whatsoever.
No.
Okay,
I mean, at
cool.
least not in the. So I don't really try to read the game ones. I like to read them in the moment.
Yeah.
I will read the diatribe just if there's something I want to ask for clarification on.
He's
And
just been real hard on me lately.
you're an ass to him.
I'm not either. I think his problem is like cleaned up the homeless population around his house, and his sex life went to crap after that. You know, he's frustrated.
So I just want to point out,
that it's easy to have sex with homeless people, but it ain't hard.
I mean, if you surprise them, it's pretty easy.
He's sneaking in the trees,
It's like they tell you if you ever learn roping. It's that first rope you got to pull and get that calf on the ground before they know what's
we're not
happening.
talking about dominating them. I'm just.
You have your sex life, I have my sex life. Anyway, here's what.
Wow.
The 2A people are going, wait a minute.
It always smells like leather in your house.
It's mahogany. I use pledge on my mahogany, good sir. All right, Coach X is a real coach in the state of Texas. He spent last year in Oregon discovering himself. His pronouns them or he, her, and them.
And then he came back coach this year. And how many games has he won so far this year?
The punt and shoot offense is not going well.
I think they won 3.
Well, yeah, but that's because Rio Vista had to, forfeit all
They didn't play Rio Vista. Rio
Vista. Here's what Coach X has to say. In all honesty, I cannot believe that last week I made a joke about engaging in coitus with a pine tree, and Grant did not jump all over that. Like, just off the top of my head, I just said if Grant tried to have intercourse with a tree, he would suffer from premature esapulation.
They're talking for the 2A world. He's talking about playoff tree.
Yeah, playoff tree. Is that what it was from? Playoff tree? Okay,
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, Coach X, in one ear, out the other for me, Or Grant, did you do that last year and somehow ended up with poison ivy in his mouth? But he didn't say either one of those, and that shows maturity. No, not Terry's internet searches, but a growing of the soul. Way to go, Grant. I am proud of you. As I'm hyping this, a single tear is rolling down my cheek, just like the Indian fella in that commercial about how you should throw your trash out the window.
Oh, what a great commercial.
Way to go, buddy.
Yeah, where he's on the horse on that ledge. Like
there's
that,
two
on
of
that,
them. There's two
that
of them.
canyon.
Yeah, there's
and
that
then
one.
Yeah, that. And then they say a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Okay, no.
You
don't realize what he's doing here, dude.
I know what he's doing.
He is setting you up as his son. He is congratulating on you as growing up. Yeah, I'm in the coach.
I'm older than him.
Yeah, but he is now your dad because of your mom.
But I already told that joke before he got on my mom. I was on his mom. That's why he's on my mom. Do you not see the pattern here?
They're on moms. I'm on the homeless. We're all having a great time here. Anyway, that's Coach X. He didn't pick any 2A games. He will during the playoffs. He didn't pick any 2A games, but we're going to start.
Those are a wild ride, too, because he barely knows anything about his class. When he gets into class 2A,
I think
it's really, really bad.
I think
but then he ends up picking more right than we do, so who knows?
I've won every year.
Huh?
I have won the pick'em every year that we started keeping score.
I've won them.
My favorite part is, though, is by week 3, we've all forgotten that we're keeping score. We don't even do them again. No, I think the craziest thing is when we were over at Coach X's last year for Hanukkah, and we were having matzah balls.
I didn't get invited to that.
You're sitting right there next to me.
Anyway, I was not anywhere for Hanukkah.
He had his 7 state championship rings, and I'm like, man, that's really impressive. And he goes, I don't know. I was just washing clothes. I'm gonna get back, coach. I'm like, okay, dude, if you don't want to.
I did stripe the field for 5 games that year.
All right, we're gonna start again. This is one.
He's so low. They still have natural grass at his stadium, in his field.
Okay, no, that's not. Hey, that's
with a 10-foot crown on each side. Do you know? By the way, before we get started, I was thinking about this the other day. There's a whole generation of Texas high school football players that will play on fields that have no idea what a crown is. If they ever go to college, say Georgia or Bama or something that has a crown, natural grass that has a crown, do you think they're like walking out there what's up with this field? Why is it uphill on one side,
Dude,
and down on the other?
Texas Stadium, man. It was
Oh,
people
it was
don't
terrible.
understand. If you stood on one sideline and looked across, you could only see the waist up.
Yeah.
That's how bad the crown was. Brett Favre notoriously would struggle for the first quarter and a half every time he came here because he talked about just you can't unless you throw it every day, you just can't get adjusted to that.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
But yeah, there's a whole generation of Texas high school football players that will have no idea what a crown field is.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. All right, so what we're going to be doing again, this is all one show, so we'll do 2A, review and preview, take a break, 3A, review and preview, take a break, repeat, and rinse for 4A. So let's start in 2A, and let's look back at the week that was, week 7, and we're going to start with Frankston over Mildred, 32-6. Now, we picked this game.
A lot of implications in this game, though, right? Mildred came in pretty good. Frankston has been wiping the field with everybody.
Mildred had one of those records that I remember Jack Stollard said, these are the games you love to write about because you know it's going to be ugly, but both records are pretty, so it at least gets people talking about it.
Yeah, because sometimes those ugly records, and you see this in the playoffs sometimes those not ugly records, pretty records that are in the playoffs that are 10-1, 9-1, right, or whatever, actually mean the team is really good.
Exactly.
You think they're bogus records because of who they played, but they ended up being really good. You kind of have to think that no matter who they played, that might be the case in like the regular season. Frankston showed Mildred, maybe was not the best, but I'm telling you, Frankston's just that good though. 32-6.
Michael Bryant, 3 first-half touchdown runs. They were up 20-0. They coasted from there. He ran for 119 yards on 14 carries. Now, they don't get any rest for the wicked. We'll be talking about who they're playing this week, which I think will decide the district championship. And I'm starting to think –
maybe the game of the week in 2A, right?
And I'm starting to think, and I know Region 2, Division 1 is not the strongest region. We know this. We've talked about it, joked about it, but I will contend that I think Frankston might be starting to put themselves ahead and shoulders above everybody. Now, they're going to have to face their nemesis who beat them last year, Hamilton, in a very close playoff game that Hamilton scored a touchdown late to spread it out. But, man, I'm telling you,
I think this Frankston team is much better this year.
I do, too. Returning 15, and Paul Gould seems to have really found just a pipeline of offense. I mean, this is a program that you and I joke, man, I don't even remember, I don't remember. The only thing I knew about Frankston in my life of high school football is back when I broadcast for Brook Hill. They played Frankston in Frankston, and Brook Hill, a average private school team at the time, boat raced them by like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But the last 3 years, 9-3, 7-4, 8-4, they're looking to break through past that third round of the playoffs, and I kind of feel like they might.
Yeah, I mean, this is the year for Frankston. Let's be honest.
Yes, sir.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Let's go to the Kraut Bowl, man.
Wow.
Munster 49, Lindsay 28. Now, this game was close to about 2.5 quarters, right?
Yeah.
Before Munster just made a bunch of plays on the offensive side of the ball and kind of shut Lindsay down after that, right?
Well, and there was a crazy, let me find my phone because I accidentally, and thanks to our Lindsay fan for sending this to me, and I sent this to Coach Carney. By the way, we have a Munster football show.
Who's your Lindsay fan? You got to
Kinsey, I can't think of his last name now. Sorry,
Kinsey Lloyd.
Thank you. Sorry.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Why do you say mine? We share a show.
Well, I know, but I didn't know who you were talking about.
Well, you always message me.
You've got a lot of Lindsay fans out there. I have like none.
You always message me and say, please don't make me talk to the little fans. I don't really want to.
Wow.
So check this out. So in this game, Lindsay ran 69 plays. Nice. 386 yards. That's good. That's a good stat. Munster, 42 plays, 469 yards of total offense. So Lindsay did exactly what Lindsay wanted to do, and that's primarily run the ball, keep the ball away from Munster, and force Munster into big plays. And Munster said, okay. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
I feel like this is not the last time these two are going to see each other.
That's kind of the way I'm feeling, too.
Right?
Though I will say this. I think we've all slept on Collinsville because they lost the game early, but
Well, they got a big one this week.
yeah, and we'll be talking about
yeah.
that. And so we'll get that calibration in a district, though, where I do really feel that you're basically going to see this district just eliminate each other. And I don't know if anybody else can beat them in the playoffs. That's how good this district
Little
is.
miniature 2A SEC.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Crawford outlasts Marlin 27-21. Hey, nobody's talked about the Pirates. 5-1 on the year. Their only losses to Axtell 34-7.
And Axtell is a darn good team.
Axtell's another team in that where I will say this, and again, I don't know because they're all playing each other, but it does feel like Division 1, Region 2, and 2A is going to be a little bit better this year. I like the chaos in it because you don't know who's going to come out of it. Like,
right.
It wouldn't shock me if Frankston rolls through the region and beats everybody by 3 touchdowns. It also wouldn't shock me if Italy beats Frankston in the second round of the playoffs. That's how crazy it is. But anyway,
not Italy this year.
No, yeah, they're kind of down this year. New Home shuts out Abernathy 39-0. We really haven't talked about New Home this year.
No, we haven't. They got one loss, I believe, on the year. And Abernathy, not what they had been, but
I am really shocked. Abernathy, them and Sweetwater and Iowa Park, and I know it's kind of weird because we're all looking west when we're talking about that. All three of those teams who had success at the higher class dropped down, and it felt like they were going to be better. Abernathy's one of them, and they've had a solid season. They're 3-2. Unfortunately, that was their first loss in district. New Deal 3-2. They're one. I mean, New Deal. New Home. They're 5-1, 1-0 on the year. I mean, when you look at them, their only loss was to Lubbock Liberty. Man, that's a crazy game. John Ward. We've talked many times about our admiration for the Ward brothers, good and bad.
John Ward's a hell of a baseball coach.
Yeah. And he is really he took a New Home team that had kind of floundered, and in the last 3 years, I say this, last year they went 5-6, and that was a down year, when at one point for New Home 5-6 would have been a banner year. And that just tells you how good John Ward has done there. So good win for them.
Yeah. All right, St. Augustine 28, Joaquin 21. Hey. Nice win for St. Augustine, right? Joaquin seems to be a little down from where they were last year, but of course they weren't just tearing it up in the regular season last year.
And then they got
hot. And then they got hot into the playoffs. But St. Augustine comes up with a great win. How about Cisco, man? Making the comeback 30-20 over Stanford. Cisco's now 5-1. Their only loss was week 1 to Clyde, 33-13.
Yeah, and they're sitting at 1-0 in district. You've got, in a district with Hawley and Anson, and we'll be talking about a couple of those matchups. 4-2A Division 1's turned out to be a pretty dang solid district.
Yeah.
With Anson stepping up, even though Anson did lose. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that one. Was that last week?
The Anson game.
Was that on the notes?
Yeah, and I think Anson's on here.
I know where it's at. It got left at. Sorry, we're looking at our notes. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and package these together. Hawley outlasts Anson 39-28. Aiden Romeo threw for 214 yards and 4 touchdowns. I still am high on Anson, though, because they stayed in this game. That was what I wanted to see after beating. And also, man, when you beat Albany the week before, or 2 weeks before, because I think they had a bye week, I think there was a little bit of a letdown, which is odd when you're going up against Holly to start district. But I saw some of the celebrations when they beat Albany, and they were, you would have thought they had won a playoff game. I think Anson will get right now, and they'll get back going up, and good. Another, once again, 4A Division 1, just a really darn good district.
Yeah. All right. How about Garrison 35, Shelbyville 33? This game kind of went back and forth to the final whistle. Garrison's defense kind of struggled to contain Shelbyville's quarterback, Gavin McDonald. He threw for like 300 yards. However, Garrison's Avery Yarborough and Carter Crawford both ran for almost 200 yards apiece to put Shelbyville's defense away. I mean, Garrison, man, when they want to run the football, they are going to be tough to stop.
Over 500 yards on the ground. Shelbyville, the best 1-5 team in the state.
Yes.
When you look at, they lose to Mount Enterprise 62-57. They lose to Garrison 35-33. They lose to Wascom 21-19. I call them a dark horse. I still think they are.
You know what's funny? You say a 1-5 team. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's a guy out in Deep East Texas that has a Facebook page, Texas Hometown Football.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He has Shelbyville at 1-5 in his top, 25.
Yeah.
And it's a 1-5. Now, for somebody that doesn't know, if you didn't know anything, why would you have? You're an idiot. Why would you have a Shelbyville 1-5 team in your top 25? Well, this is why, because they have played probably the toughest schedule in Class 2A,
And they've been competitive against all the 2A teams,
right?
And I think
so. If they
still
just
gonna be.
can get in the tournament into the playoffs, they'll be a force to be reckoned with.
Exactly. And that's why I had them as a dark horse in our dark horse show. Staying out in that area, Mount Enterprise outlast Grapeland 68-50. Look, Keegan Ash just,
Dude, that dude is a beast. He absolutely gutted Grapeland's defense.
417 yards, 7 touchdowns on 28 carries. He also had a 60-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And I know a lot of people, and rightfully so, talk about Christian Villarreal, the running back out at Ozona, who's probably going to maybe break Kenneth Hall's record or get close to it.
Right.
I think if Mountain Enterprise wanted to, Keegan Ash could do it as well. Keegan Ash to me,
he's got size and he's got speed.
He's like H.D. Davis from Wolf City, but I think Ash can do a little bit more
with
in the passing
another
game.
Gear too.
Yeah, and he has I think he might be a little bit fast. Man, this is our year of the running backs in 2A. And by the way, we do want to. I will acknowledge now, we haven't talked a lot about him, even though this is the 6th-ranked team in the state. It's because Ozona hasn't played the toughest schedule. Though, one of the teams they just beat the doors off of this past year, or a couple weeks ago, El Dorado, they have a big win. Yeah,
El Dorado did.
Yeah, they beat Iran 45-42.
Yeah.
The Braves came into this game 4-1. Just a game we kind of wanted to know. Speaking of upsets, dude, I did not see Beckville 35-34. In fact, I will admit it. I called it last week. I said Wascom could name their own score. It looked like they were headed that way. But that same thing that we saw against Garrison, that defense just at times just is just gives up big play after big play. And it's because they play aggressive.
At Garrison, it happened in the second half.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That Wascom defense was not a shadow of itself in the second half as it was in the first half against Garrison. And that's what cost them the game. So that Wascom Wildcat defense, if they could play 4 quarters, will be a force to be reckoned with. But man, they got some things to shore up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All right, Lovelady beat Overton. Overton's another team. They're not as good as Shelbyville, but Overton has had the tough losses where they've played.
They were supposed to be all brakes, no gas on offense, right? The last 2 years.
Yeah.
And they've, they're, I don't know what's going on. I mean, you have to have a defense to complement that offense, but even the offense isn't getting up, 40 points.
Well, I mean, again, though, their losses, Price Carlisle by 10, Grapeland by 10.
Right.
And Lovelady, and this was a closer game. The score got out of hand at the end of the game. Again, I contend they're just like
Shelbyville.
If they can just get into the playoffs, again, 11-2A Division II with Lovelady now at 6-0, Mount Enterprise at 6-0.
I like Shelbyville's chances better than I like Overton's.
I do too. Not only because I think Shelbyville overall is a better team, but also I just think the way the draw works and everything, Shelbyville will have a better path, even if they're not a second or third place team. Stratford outlast Groover 40-27. Alejandro Casas ran for 107 yards, 2 touchdowns on only 11 carries. Darius Jones added 68 yards and 2 touchdowns. Of course, 66 of those were all on one play. But, man, that's why we like Stratford out there is that big play offense, and they are always a little bit more athletic than everybody else.
Yeah,
and
they
you
are.
saw that because this is a solid Groover team, and they were in this game, but they just could not get a
I'd
stop.
say Groover's a top 10, top 15 team.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I would say.
Stratford almost doubling them up.
All right, is that?
Yeah.
Ganado took care of one. Little shock. Not that they won. We both took Ganado, even though we both like Weimer as one of our dark horses, and we think they're going to play for a while. I was a little shocked at how easily Ganado won this game.
Yeah, well, I don't
thought
know.
It would be a little bit more.
I mean, there's so much more physical and just.
That's a good point. Even though the Wildcats are physical, they can't.
If I'm Weimer, I'm like, okay, yeah, we got beat 49-8, but it is Ganado. So I'm not real shocked by it. I think Weimar's going to be fine. I just think this tells you how good Ganado is.
All right, now that we've done the review, let's flip over again. We're doing all classes in one show. I just want to make sure. We talked about Frankston in the last one, and we're going to talk about them now because they have a big game.
Yeah, Frankston 6-0, Kearns 5-1. That one loss that Kearns had, I can't remember who it was to. It was actually a pretty good football team. But Frankston's running back, Michael Bryant, man, that kid's a stud. The Frankston defense only gives up just under 15 points a game on average.
It was Bremont, 35-13.
Okay, yeah. So
and then,
a good loss.
Yeah, a good loss. And then they had a good win against Axel, a team that last year.
A top 15 team.
And then last year, Cairns had them for most of the game, and Axel scored a couple of touchdowns late. And I remember talking with Kenny Heath, who does our Central Texas show, and he knows the Axel coach. And the Axel coach was like, man, Cairns is a lot closer than what people – or Kearns. Well, we always call it Cairns out in East Texas. But they're a lot closer.
I only know Kearns because we played them in high school.
Isn't that one of your ones that y'all got to beat up on?
Kearns and Palmer.
Yeah.
Kearns was always a little bit more athletic, though.
Yeah, they were back in the 90s, they had a really good basketball program. But anyway, the Axel coach had said, look, the Bobcats are young, and they've got a lot of talent, and watch out for them. Now, in saying that, again, you know how we just talked earlier about there's these games that look close on paper because of records and everything? I think Frankston's going to win this game by 3 touchdowns.
I do too. I think Kearns quarterback Isaiah Jordan's good enough to keep him in it.
Yep, I agree.
For a while. But I just think this, look, Frankston, again, going back to Michael Bryant, running back, and that Frankston defense, I think that's what separates Frankston from Kearns. I think it'll be close for a half, and then Frankston will start pulling away in the third, and they'll go 7-0. So, yeah, I like Frankston about, like you said, about 3 touchdowns.
All right, let's go back out to 8-2A Division II, Collinsville versus Lindsay. Of course.
This will be a fun one here.
Oh, yeah, we talked about Lindsay.
I think
losing.
Lindsay's pissed off, and Collinsville's about to pay for it.
Yeah, all right. So
Collinsville's quarterback, Paxton Davidson, man, great.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually the guy that started as the backup. If I'm not mistaken,
yes,
I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
And I think it was one of them. It was between Jackson Jenkins and him. And I think Paxton has kind of settled into the role. 1050 yards to the air. He's run for 450. And if I'm wrong, let us know. Grant and Terry does to sport.com.
Chad Davidson, receiver, averaging over 20 yards a catch.
And Collinsville's defense, once again, is really solid. Their only bad game, which has kind of just turned into a weird game, was Callisburg. Callisburg's had just such an up and down season.
Yeah, Callisburg's just weird.
Playing a good schedule and being competitive in their losses. But anyway, and then when you got Lindsay, we talked about it, Lindsay last week. The only concern that I have, and I know that this is a rivalry game too, is, man, I feel like Lindsay poured everything into the Kraut Bowl this year because
they poured a lot into it, but I'm telling you, they're a good enough team that, dude, their offense is so, I'm not going to say balanced because they're still run heavy.
Lane Foster gives them that threat.
Right. Lane Foster's thrown for over 1,000 yards already in a run heavy offense. And we know Lindsay's defense outside of Munster, but it's Munster.
Yeah, 100%,
right? Yeah, has been darn good. This is at home for Lindsay. I think Lindsay gets back on the right track, and I'm not going to say he makes easy work out of Collinsville, but they'll leave no doubt.
Wow, I'm leaning to Collinsville. I'm going to go with Lindsay because they're at home, but I actually think it's the other way around.
I think it's 14-point Lindsay wins this game.
I can see that. Okay, that's easy.
That's leaving no doubt.
I think you could see this game.
Maybe not in high school football. 14 points is not leaving no doubt. In high school football is like 35. But.
I think Lindsay will come out a little flat. I think Collinsville will jump up on them, and then Lindsay will have to claw back and bring them back in.
Flat because they lost to Munster.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
This is their. And again, I know they.
But if you take emotion out of it, right?
Yeah,
if you took all that out of it, wouldn't you think Lindsay would be the better team by 14, 21 points?
I'd say 7-10. But yeah, I think they're a better team. I do think they're a better team. I think there's something a little missing with Collinsville offensively on the explosive side that they've had before. All right, let's swing out to 1-2A Division I. We've got a great one in Panhandle. Of
And
course.
staying at West Texas, dude. West Texas has been one of the surprise teams for me so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, a team last year that was 7-4, and they returned a lot, but man, they have come out of the gates firing 6-0. Now we can talk about who they played, but they beat Groover, and we've talked about Groover earlier, even though they lost. But how we like Groover, and they've won with authority. Now,
yeah,
in saying that, Broxton Robinson and Panhandle, I just think it's on a different level. The
Broxton
Panthers,
Robinson, the Army commit,
Army
right?
commit.
He's all everything, and their defense only allows about 10 points a game.
They literally had one bad game defensively, and that was their loss to Dalhart.
Yeah.
In the other games, they've given up 0, 19, 0, 0, 0. I do think West Texas will score, but again, we always have these unplanned themes on our show sometimes. This is one of them. This is another one where all the podcasters, the news writers, we're making, oh my God, it's Stinnett, 1-0, 6-0, Panhandle 5-1, both state ranked. I think Panhandle names their score in this one.
I don't think they name their score necessarily, but I think they win comfortably. Again, West Texas has outscored their opponents 338-73 this year, right? Really good defense. Panhandle has a really good defense. But so when you have two really good defenses pitted together in a matchup like this, you're going to get a little bit closer of a game. Now, has this West Texas defense seen a quarterback like Broxton Robinson? No, they have not. So they're going to give up some points to him. But I think their defense is good enough to put them in it like late into the game. I like Panhandle by a touchdown, 2 touchdowns tops. But I think this could be closer to 1 touchdown for Panhandle. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Maybe it'll be like the Panhandle Sunray game last year.
We actually, if we weren't going to Paradise Peaster,
this would have been
we would have gone to this one. All right, Anson 5-1 taking on a 3-3 Stanford team that is better than that 3-3 record, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, first off, they began district play losing to Cisco by 10, as we talked about, 30-20. Lost to Albany by 14. Lost to Lubbock Christian by 7. I mean, this is the Stanford. Them in Munster, they're going to lose a couple games in non-district at times, and then you wake up and you go, oh wait, they're 4 rounds deep. Now last year, of course, they didn't lose to their last game of the year. When it was Ganado in that classic.
Does Anson show up after this loss last week, hung over a little bit?
I don't know if I don't think it matters if they do or not. I think Stanford's just a better team than them.
You do? So you take Stanford?
Oh yeah, at home. I think this is another one that's 14-21. When you just again, I just think, and this is nothing on Anson. Anson's going to make the playoffs. Anson's going to be a tough out in the playoffs. And the thing is they might finish 4th in district. This is that district that we talked about. That's kind of like the 4A Lago Vista district, where the 4th place team in this district is going to be a team that's going to have a 6-4, 7-3 record and be really, really good.
Right.
And their only losses are going to be inside a competitive district because Anson only lost by 11. Even if they lose by 14 to Stanford, as you say, that's still within, you're still impressed with them. So, yeah, I have Stanford, though.
I have Stanford, too, but I do think it's close. I think Anson's going to answer the call. It's going to fall short to maybe a better team in Stanford. All right, 6-0 Shiner versus 3-3 Falls City. Give me Shiner.
Yeah, give me Shiner by a few touchdowns. Good win last week for Falls City, who has struggled this year.
Shiner's on a freaking mission right now.
Yeah, Shiner's on a mission right now to get back to state. And I've even saw some people were like, if we won state, that's great. But if we can't beat Munster, it takes a little shine off. I love that little odd coming out of nowhere rivalry between two great programs we probably will see back
the
to
Czechs
back.
Versus the Germans.
Hey,
it is.
No, I know.
I mean, that is like, that's what all South Texas is. Is, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's Czechs and there's Germans. Germans don't marry Czech girls. Czech girls don't marry German girls. It's a thing in those small South Texas towns. I mean,
football,
look it up.
Religion, and food.
So, yeah, it's a thing. All right, 5-1 Frost versus 6-0 Chilton. Give me Chilton. Chilton way too athletic.
Look, I love what Frost has done this year. They've started out the year 5-0
against Winters.
That, by the way, y'all should make that. They have to play that game every year. I don't care. They have to play it every year. But
and put it in Dick Bivens Stadium up in the Panhandle where it's really cold. But make it the last. I don't know. You got to make it cold.
Take it to Canada.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No,
so last
take
week,
it to Alaska.
last week they were
Fairbanks.
They were 2-0,
Fairbanks,
but
Alaska.
Fairbanks actually gets kind of warm in the at the beginning of football. Our
Yeah,
football season.
well, but towards the end.
Yeah. But they started out the year 5-0. They were 2-0 in district. Frost was filling their oats, and then Goldway poured some water on that ice last week, beat them 42-0. I don't think it'll be much different. Look, great start for Frost. They'll probably slip into the playoffs, though. Stop me if you thought you'd ever hear this. It'll come down to Frost and Mart in a few weeks. That'll decide the playoffs. But
wow.
But Chilton will boat race them.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, St. Augustine and Garrison. St. Augustine's Tamori and Cartwright at quarterback, really good. Andrew Nash, the running back, is pretty good. But can that St. Augustine defense stop the two-headed monster in Garrison's backfield and Avery Yarborough and Carter Crawford?
I don't know. I mean, look, the one
those two can break it at any time.
The one great offense St. Augustine has played all year was 3A Palestine Westwood, and they gave up 42. They gave up 27 to Price Carlisle, but I mean, we always say in today's college or high school, that's about a normal score.
Yeah.
They have a shutout. They held Joaquin last week to 21. I think this is a closer game than people might think. You got to remember, this is a rivalry, very underrated rivalry down in Deep East Texas. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. Yarborough and Crawford are just so hard to stop, because even if you get a good game plan and you play the best game plan and all your guys have all their gap responsibilities and you stop Carter Crawford, Avery Yarborough is just taking the pitch to the outside and going 70 at any time.
Yeah. And that Garrison defense seems to be able to bow up.
Yeah, they're not great, but man, they seem to make the plays when they need to. Speaking of, we were talking about Goldwaith, and then let's finish up. Bremond versus Goldwaith. Look, Tank Scott is on another level.
That's a GoDaddy right there.
Yeah, I love how you say that, because he's not, I mean, we could call him Bremond running back, but he's also Bremond scat back, Bremond wide receiver, Bremond defensive back, takes
probably lines up in the Wildcat.
Yeah, I mean, he is just special. But then you've got a solid quarterback in Sam Kasawaki, 10,040 yards. I mean, that's solid for them when they're going to use Tank Scott a million times. Goldwaith 4-2. They lost to Junction Junction 40-16.
Wow, tell us how you really feel.
Again, Goldwaith, I think this will not be a hard loss.
Bremond will win this game.
All right, the 2A edition of the show is over, but instead of ending the show, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to do 3A the same way right here on Sideline to Sideline, the one episode edition on L4 Radio.
Hey, Coach, are you ready to elevate your locker room experience? Well, at H&H Locker Solutions, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality lockers at the lowest cost in the Southeast. As a coach-owned business based in Alabama, we understand the needs of the coaches and the players alike. Our mission is to improve your locker room and streamline your process, and we're coming to Texas. Did you know we offer a free locker program? That's right. We ship all across the USA, ensuring you get the best solutions tailored just for you and your program. Want to learn more? Drop a comment or give Coach Harris, a.k.a. Ty, a call at 256-458-4427, and let's take your locker room to the next level.
All right, Sarah Bennett Grant, good one here. Sideline to Sideline, the special one episode week. We put 2A to bed, so we now turn our attention to 3A. We'll start, as we normally do, with our 3A review. And, of course, we've got Coach X now back in play, so he has some comments on the previews, not the reviews. So let's go ahead and get it. We've got everything queued. We've got our notes up. We've got our fans' notes up. Let's start with, well, we're going to be talking about them again in the next segment. We're going to be going out and seeing them. Paradise 43-7 over Iowa Park. Main thing, again, just focusing on them because we're going out there next week. But also, I wanted to point out that defense. We always get, enthralled with Paradise's offense because they do, kind of this unique offense and everything. But, man, at the end of the day, it's the defense. And they hold Iowa Park to 81, not passing yards, not rushing yards, total yards, and just a dominant performance.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking a knee at the goal line with their number 2s in.
Wow.
And I mean, that it is Paradise. They're on a mission. this year, right? Coach Coke has them playing well. I think we had a listener kind of message us and say that sometimes they kind of play down to their competition a little bit, but a lot of really good teams do that. They play with their food a little bit. They can't do that this week. We'll preview that game in the next segment against Peaster, who has also a really good defense. That's going to be a great one. All right, how about Whitney 34, Grandview 7? Grandview without their starting quarterback, right?
Yes.
Whitney with a lot of their guys back that were injured, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
That shows you the Whitney offense.
Well, I think they were out there. Well, I think Whitney was out with their quarterback too, as well. He had gotten hurt the week before. Yeah, or I don't know if he's back this week, but he had gotten hurt last week, and they had to flip over. But at the end of the day, what makes them is Jonte Johnson.
Yeah,
and Jonte Johnson, man, when you look at him, he's 5'6", but he does not have a 5'6". Like, he's not slim. He's got the thick thighs and everything. Yeah. He's got a base built to be a running back. Grandview tried to do an onside kick. He caught it, took it to the house. Huge win for Whitney. Folks, you understand.
And the manner they did.
And the manner. And they just, Grandview's the team that's always stuck in Whitney's crawl. Grandview's always a little bit better. They have the state championships and all. Yeah. So this was a really big win, especially after losing to Little River Academy the week before non-district started. Very impressed with them. With Grandview, you got to start asking the questions. Which Grandview are we going to get? The one that beats Eagle Mountain, or the one that loses to Malakoff by 10 and then gets their doors beat off by Whitney?
I think for the injury standpoint, we're getting the latter from the Zebras right now.
This is a young team as well. Yeah. This is a team that's, even though they returned a lot, they still are young. You're right. Mason Landers being hurt. Dane Jensen's younger brother stepped in at one point to take over. We got to watch Grandview, because it's not a guarantee that they're going to be getting that second place spot, though. Whitney now, it's not even a guarantee that Whitney's going to win district. This is one of those weird districts, in my opinion, this year. Dude, speaking of districts, it's fun. Gladewater continues being Gladewater as they beat Liberty Ilo 46-20.
I think I had LE beating Gladewater in our predictions last
I did too,
week.
because I felt, and I still do feel, that a lot of Liberty Ilo's record is, again, losing Poe but also just who they played. Like, they played a really tough schedule. All three of their losses going into this game were against 4A teams. But look, man,
games should slow down for them, right? Not against Gladewater, though. Gladewater's now 6-0, only lost by 1 point to West Russ, 15-14. West Russ only loss was to Malakoff by a couple of touchdowns.
And again, I keep saying it. I didn't understand the hire at the moment, but man, Jermaine Lewis has stepped in with a young team too. This isn't a senior-laden team. This is a team that you go, okay, just a couple years ago, we were like, where has the talent been, is that talent pipeline closed off for Gladewater for a while? Because that's what Gladewater does. They're in an era where they're going to have these years where 6-7 years where they're really good, and then they're going to have a few years where they've struggled. We thought that struggle was going to be longer, but man, they've come out of it. And at one point, you got to start asking, where do they rank wrong, in the top 10 to 12 to 13?
I would not want to face Gladewater in the playoffs.
Nope. And dude, this 8-3A Division I is just a blast.
Yeah, it is.
With them, with Atlanta, even Jefferson. Do not forget Jefferson. They were beat up. Tatum, Liberty Ilo. I mean, there's going to be a solid team that's going to miss the playoffs this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, Wall 63, Merkel 13. Merkel came in with that pretty record.
Yeah,
with a one-loss team, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But Wall does what Wall does, and Wall's just on a different level than anybody out there right now in that region.
No, I agree. The Merkel loss, other than that, was Hawley 51-34. This felt like Wall making a statement after Wall had struggled with Idalou for a little bit.
Little bit of a hiccup, but they still won.
They still won, but they had to pull away late. And then you had Merkel having, a great season. And I had been reading some of the Facebook pages out there. And I get it. Merkel was 0-10 last year, so I get why they're excited this year. And they kind of were starting to think, okay, maybe we can play with Wall. This felt like Wall going, hey, man, great season, but we're Wall.
Just whipped it out on them.
Exactly.
All right, talking about whipping it out on somebody.
I was wrong.
Making a statement.
I was wrong. I said Woodville would win, but I thought my reasoning was sound. It wasn't supposed to be like this. But, man, Newton scored more points in this game than their basketball team will for most
Newton
games.
72, Woodville 26. I picked Newton to win this, but there was no not one inkling in my being that thought Newton would beat them this bad. Newton making a statement against Woodville, a state finalist last year, who had creeped back up into the AP / Dave Campbell's top 10 last week, and Newton just embarrasses the Eagles.
Well, Woodville, they are now in the most confusing team. They start the year getting drummed by Orangefield, and then they roll off 5 straight.
Orangeville's a pretty darn good team.
Yeah, they're pretty hard. And Newton's a great team, but they roll off 5 in a row. But man, you can explain away a 42-14. Hey man, the ball went our way early. Next thing you know, you cannot explain a 72.
Yeah, that's like getting caught. Never mind. Edgewood 45, Grantsling 28. Help me out here, man. I'm trying to talk myself out of what I was just about to say. Edgewood 45, Grantsling 28.
Hey, Edgewood, by the way.
Okay, dude. Edgewood is beyond a dark horse in that region now. Their defense is not as bad as what they looked against Troop and Palmer.
Yeah, but that is still, I think, going to be the week.
What's
going to hurt them
but
at the
they're
end of the day.
better than that.
Yeah.
But their defense is better than that, I think.
But again, that's Troop
But
and
they
Palmer.
put up 45, and Trevor Golightly, 161 yards running, 161 yards passing, 65 yards passing, something like that. Lucas Pippings runs for like 108
on just 8 carries.
On 8 carries,
dude, this is.
I'm telling you, Edgewood, the Bulldogs are scary.
This is the team that beat 3A Division I Power Commerce. Everybody's like, wait, no, go look at Commerce. If you haven't been
Commerce.
paying attention.
I don't know. They wiped the field with Winsboro and Malakoff back-to-back weeks, and it wasn't even close.
But yeah, I think Dave Campbell's did an article about Trevor Golightly. By the way, great name for a quarterback, Golightly. And they talked about, and Kevin Bachtel, the head coach there in the Bachtel family, long-time coaches. His dad was at Wills Point forever.
Wills Point for a long time,
You want to talk about stories of some of the best teams that had to face Commerce and Forney in the first round of the playoffs 2 years in a row. But, and I've read where he's talked about, we understand the defensive issues we have, and you have 2 choices. You can protect your defense, or you can tell your defense, hey, just make a stop. We're going to go score 40.
Right.
And I like
but
that.
I think Edgewood's defense is better than just make a stop. I do.
I think against good talent, I don't think they are.
I think they are better than that. I think we'll start seeing that in the playoffs. Not that they're going to stop everybody every time, but they're more than just one stop. I think they're a little bit better than that.
Speaking of Newton scoring 72 against Woodville last year against Edgewood in the playoffs, they scored 14 more points than they had.
Oh my gosh.
and
Edgewood's got to be on point defensively for that, because that's coming up.
Oh, you're going to see. Well, Edgewood will probably win district this year, so they'll avoid them for 2 rounds.
For 2 rounds, but if you're Edgewood with that offense at Trevor Golightly, you're not thinking 2 rounds. You're thinking region and semifinals.
Let's talk about running games. Franklin, 635 yards. Walker Anderson, their quarterback, ran for 171, which is something they don't, they're that slot T. They'll pull the quarterback occasionally, but usually don't see him having these big of days.
Set the scene here. What? Franklin beat Troy 68-27.
Yeah, I was getting there.
You're going backwards.
No, it's called burying the lead. Aiden Johnson ran for 165 yards on 5 carries. 600 and I just can't get off that number.
I know.
That's Barry Switzer 80s half a thousand rushing days against Missouri.
They didn't even have that in those days.
Oh man, I am so impressed this year.
Franklin's just deadly.
Again, just like Edgewood, they're going to live or die by that defense making stops. That's if they make the stops.
But their defense is pretty darn good too, though.
Yeah, but they give up points against good offenses. They've given up 42, 48, 33. Now that Salina game, 30, that's actually pretty impressive, even though Salina had 2 of their running backs out. Again, I'm not saying this is a knock on Franklin. I know I took flack on Smokey, I think it was. I'm not saying your defense is bad. I'm saying that when you play better offenses, your defense struggles. But guess what? If you're getting 635 yards on the ground, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Your defense can struggle a little bit.
All right, Pottsboro 57, Palmer 43. I think you called this last week, saying how Pottsboro not on the show, but just in
I
the
think
truck
Pottsboro's
on
the
the
best
way
team in the
back.
district.
And you were saying that Pottsboro might be one of the most underrated teams in Class 3A. And here we are. Pottsboro 57, Palmer 43. Pottsboro's quarterback Caden Humphrey threw for 365 yards and 4 touchdowns. Folks, that's NFL numbers right there.
It really is. Trace Olson, 136 yards receiving. Look, I promise we didn't put these run sheets together. Maybe
My
we
God,
did.
how good is Sanger? Pottsboro's only loss was the Sanger 28-21.
Holding this Pottsboro offense to 21 points is impressive.
I know. They must
Ed
be
Sanger on the year is
Dangerfield
5-2
or something.
They're 5-2 with their losses to 4A Paris 35-38 and 3A Gunner 60-42. That's the game though that Sanger I think led like by 2 touchdowns early. But anyway, I want to go back to Pottsboro. I know we didn't do this on purpose, but we always sometimes have these themes. This Pottsboro fits in with what we talked about with Franklin and what we talked about with Edgewood. Their offense can score with anybody.
Yeah.
What they have to do defensively is they don't have to be dominant. They need to make a couple of stops, and they've given up points. They gave up 34 to Mount Vernon in a win, 33 to Munster in a win. They're winning, and for Palmer, I mean, I think we're seeing that they're
not imploding yet because let me tell you this. I think Pilot Point's a little bit better than what we thought, right?
100%.
And they're coming up against a Pottsboro team that is obviously really damn good. But what Palmer's showing is maybe they were a little bit overrated in the rankings. But I think with that quarterback, receiver, and running back, Palmer can make some hay. It's just, can they handle getting punched in the mouth and play some defense?
Exactly. Can they handle when things don't go their way?
Right.
All right. That's it for the 3A review. Now, hang on, folks, as I do the magic of flipping the page to the Week 8 preview. And we will start with the game that we're going to be at. And again, we now have Coach X back in play on some of these games he picked. It looks like 3 games. Let's get into it. I'm excited about this. Now, if you'd have told me 5 years ago, one day you're going to be excited about going to watch Peaster and Paradise, I'd be, no, we're watching the basketball game. But these two offense, and Peaster especially, we knew what Paradise was going to be. Yeah, we knew they were losing a lot, but we also knew that they had a lot coming back. Peaster, the one that has surprised me this year.
Surprising 6-0, right?
Greyhound 6-0 in the year. They shut out Toller. They beat Jacksboro 28-7. They dominated Iowa Park just like Paradise did a couple weeks ago, 46-20. Trevor Owens is just doing great work at Peaster. 2 years ago was supposed to be the year. Or 3 years ago, and they
went up against Brock.
Well, and the whole season went to crap, and they ended up firing. The coach resigned. Sorry, he didn't get fired. I don't want to. He resigned, but that was supposed.
You said fired.
That was supposed to be their year.
I don't want to say you're stirring stuff up, but you did say fired.
That was supposed to be their year, and then 2 years ago they went 4-0, and then last year they kind of shocked everybody by going 9-3. And they won a playoff game against Comanche, big upset, and then they lost to Shallow-Water. This year, the Greyhounds have started, as a Greyhound, hit the ground running. Very impressed with them.
Look at their defense. Peaster's defense is only allowing an average of 8 points a game.
Yep, again.
I mean, and they're going up against a Paradise team that their defense is averaging, I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's somewhere under 13 points.
Looking at Paris,
maybe 15 points.
Paradise on the year, a shutout, gave up 20 to Godley, gave up 34 in the loss, 22 to Vernon. And by the way, folks,
Vernon is the real deal.
These 3 teams at the top of this, I think, could end up seeing each other in the regular in the playoffs, especially Vernon, folks. I went back and you went back. You actually had me go back because you had talked about, Paradise got a good win, but man, go look at Vernon, and I did, and I had seen them when they beat.
They are good,
yeah, and I saw when they beat Wichita Falls City View 3 weeks ago. I think it was 21-12 or something like that. And I thought, okay, I need to remember them, but they have a really good run. And I know we'll get back to Peace, don't worry, but they have a really good quarterback in Ty Scott. I don't think that their story is going to be done. But anyway, back to this game.
Yeah.
I'm torn on this one. I want to say Paradise.
I'm taking Paradise. Look, Peaster's defense is awesome, and their quarterback Luke Gray, their running back Hudson Sailors, and then they just play complementary offensive football to that defense that has been so dominant. But Paradise has a sneaky dominant defense, right?
Dude, they have with Tegan Lambert, Cash Watson, and Miles Godwin linebacker core might be the best linebacker core in 3A.
And then Aiden Alade at quarterback, Luke Brown at running back, Elijah Jennings at receiver. I think whoever can generate a little bit more offense late in the game, not the first half, is going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, I think
somebody is going to break this open in the second half, and I think Paradise has the playmakers on the offensive side of the ball to do that. I think Paradise wins by 7-10, at most 14, but this is a low-scoring game.
Yeah, actually, I have in my mind 28-14.
Yeah.
Just right there. Just Paradise doing enough. It wouldn't shock me if you saw Paradise jump up early 21-0 and then have to hold Peaster off. But that Paradise defense is just so special. All right. And
well, both of them are special.
Yeah,
so far.
All right, here's what Coach X has to say. Peaster versus Paradise. This has to be the most relaxing game of the year. Paradise and Peaster. I would think if you go watch the game, they would give you a Hawaii shirt and a drink and a coconut. You chill, watch the game. In fact, let's get this game played on a neutral site like Poolville. Marketing takes care of itself. Paradise wins.
Poolville. I like that.
I was thinking of Buffett.
Let's lay out on a raft in the sun and watch the game.
While calling the game?
Oh, heck yeah. It's like being on a cruise, but not on a cruise, on land.
So it's not like being on a cruise.
Right, but like being on a cruise.
But on land, without a boat.
Yes, exactly.
So just being at a pool.
Yeah, that imbecile Coach X has something.
He's something nice to you today.
No, imbecile's a complete... My mom used to call me that, and she said I was sweet, so...
No, she said you were touched.
Touched. I was... Some spectrum she kept mentioning. I don't know what that was.
No, I'm in a different time.
It's like a genus spectrum. I don't know.
All right, we're going to go out to 8-3A Division 1 and talk a couple of games. Let's start with Liberty Ilo versus Atlanta.
Ooh, what a good one this is. It would have been a lot prettier if LE wouldn't have...
Well, you hung that ER at the end.
Yeah, if Gladewater didn't just get all over them.
Yeah.
I like Atlanta in a close one, but I don't know if that trust Atlanta that much or if I'm just trusting LE by getting boat raced by Gladewater.
I tell you what, man, that Halloween night last game of the year for Atlanta is going to be Gladewater, and I think it's going to be played for district. I like Atlanta in this game.
Well, so we're both the same.
Yeah, we're both saying. Yeah. You thought I was going against you, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Tatum versus Gladewater.
Sticking out there in 8-3A Division 1.
This is in Gladewater. Tatum's been pretty solid this year. Gladewater's been pretty special. Again, their only loss, 1 point to West Rusk. I think if you play that game again, Gladewater might take West Rusk. I like Gladewater in this one. I think they're a hot team in the region right now.
Yeah, I like Gladewater. I did want to point out, man, when you look at Tatum's 4 losses to Winsboro, to Newton, to West Rusk, to Liberty Ilo, and 3 of those they were competitive. I know this sounds crazy, but when you look at what Newton, as we talked about, has done to other teams, holding Newton to 42 ain't that bad. I think Gladewater is special. And when Gladewater is good, it's really hard to go into Gladewater.
Right.
It's just such a tough place when they're rolling, especially if they get up on you early and the crowd starts getting into it. Give me Gladewater, but I do think it's going to be close. Coach X didn't have a pick on this one. All right. Let's go down into Southeast Texas, Columbus versus Yoakum. I think
we had Goliad.
Oh, you're going to go first. Okay, fine.
Yeah, 5-1 Goliad taking on undefeated 6-0 Orange Grove. This is going to be a doozy right here. Give me Orange Grove in a close one. This might be the best game in Class 3A this week.
I thought I was going to be able to be the one because I thought you were going to go Goliad. I think this is a one-possession game.
I think if Goliad could throw the ball just a little bit more effectively, they would be very tough to beat. But I think Orange Grove's defense and Orange Grove's running game, it just gives this game is a pick 'em.
I was about to say I'm going Orange Grove because they're at home. I'm being real, Anyway, let's see. Did he have anything on that one?
No, he didn't.
No, he did not. All right, let's go to Little River Academy versus Franklin.
We didn't go Columbus.
Geez,
you are all out of sports.
Welcome to my.
just take over?
Yeah, you ready? I'm going to go take a nap. Let's go to Columbus versus Yoakum. Look, this is a game you and I kind of started looking at 3 weeks ago. And we're like, people are kind of sleeping on Yoakum. And I think they're really sleeping on Yoakum. In fact, I think this is a one-possession game.
Yep.
Columbus, the defense is absolutely lights out. I think their defense might be better this year than it was last year. And I'm not even talking about points or something. I'm just talking about what I have seen watching film against Belleville, against Madisonville, even in their loss against Cuero. But the issue is this offense has not been good this year.
No, they're getting better, though. Right. Look, their defense is only giving up about 13 points a game, but Jack Schobel, a quarterback for Columbus, is getting a little bit better. He's new to the position, right? He's getting better. Brennan Hicks at running back, getting a little better. Ty Wiggs, the receiver, getting a little better. So I think this Columbus defense or offense is getting better. It's the defense is what makes them tick, though, right? But that Yoakum offense with German Robinson at receiver and one of the best receivers in all of Texas high school football, Xavier Barnett, that's what's going to push this Columbus defense. Can they contain Barnett and Robinson?
I think they will. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be low scoring.
It's in Yoakum, I believe.
In Yoakum, which is always a tough place. By the way, good news on Columbus, their star. And part of the reason why the offense has struggled, they're all everything. Braylon Fisher apparently is about another couple weeks away. He's going to be one of those, man. Columbus's offense is going to look so much better in the playoffs when he's out wide.
Yeah.
I will admit this. I
like Columbus in a close one.
I want to go Columbus mainly because no matter what, we're going to go watch them in Hitchcock next week. But I
if
like
Yoakum beats Columbus, are we like dead set on going to see Columbus in Hitchcock?
I don't know. We go out the Canyon.
No, we could do that too. All right. That's a discussion.
Well, see, now I want Yoakum. I don't want Columbus to win. Like, I'm not rooting, but now
you can't root for anybody.
I want to really go watch Columbus versus Yoakum, but Hitchcock. But I think Yoakum wins this game.
Okay, we'll revisit afterward. I think Columbus wins it in a close one.
All right, Coach X says, dude, the week of the day for the town about the guy that discovered land that already had a lot of people. You know what? Reading Coach X, it's like Bob Dylan. Dude, the week of the town about the guy that discovered the land that that's seriously.
And he's so folksy too, right?
He's AI. It's not folksy. It's AI that already had a lot of people there. We get this game. How can you pick against Columbus this week? They had a whole day named for their town, and you don't have to go to school as well. Thank you, Columbus.
There's no artificial intelligence.
Whoa.
The word intelligence in his writings. Trust me.
Speaking of, he literally names himself in the very next line. He says, hey, his name, I'm going to be nice. Hey, Coach X, can you answer this for me? Was there ever a time in Columbus where you had to go to school on Columbus Day? I would riot if that happened and I lived there. Oh, he's talking about Jeremy Hargrove. My bad. Asking Jeremy, I lived there. Columbus wins. All right, Jeremy Hargrove, have y'all ever had to go to school on Columbus Day?
I don't think any high school student had to go.
I can't remember. I feel like
Indigenous People Day now.
I didn't think
not necessarily Columbus Day.
I don't remember in Marshall in the 80s and 90s having Columbus Day off. Like I don't really remember.
I don't even remember.
But again, playing football, you didn't have it off, even if you had it off.
I got CTE from my ex-wife, not from football. And I can't remember anything.
Well, I told you not to play naked football with her on the gravel. It was never going to be.
She's just mean, man. She's just mean. Little River Academy versus Franklin. Man, this is pretty on paper, but Franklin seems to be the class in the state right now.
Wait, you think this is a walkover for Franklin?
I do. Because, look, I know Brody Allen, quarterback, he's a dual threat. Brian Grissom has ran for over 1,000 yards, but, man, give me Franklin's Walker Anderson at quarterback. And I'm throwing out one of about 50 names. Bubba Jackson, running back, R.J. Fulton. I don't know. There's 1,000 of them. Franklin is going to put the Bumblebees away by 3 touchdowns.
Do you ever think Coach Fannin looks to the side and goes, I don't even know this running back. Who is this? And he runs out and goes for an 80 yards.
Right.
Okay, I counterpoint. Little River, 3-3 on the year. Their losses, 4A Waco Conley before they got beat up. The Cadets are destroyed.
All right.
Hang on, 33-29. Lose to Lexington by 7. You know how good Lexington is.
Yeah.
Lose to 3 by Burnett. Again, 4A team. Beats Salado, a 4A team who is now shocking their district with Wimberley and all them and running.
I don't think any of those can beat Franklin.
I'm not saying they can't. Well, I think, Lexington would be a good one. I think Lexington's
That'd be a good one.
I think Lexington's depth will hurt them at the end.
I don't know, man. Franklin will wear you down where depth doesn't matter unless you got 20 other guys.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Lexington has the depth. I think the first 11 or first 20 for Lexington can play. But beat Whitney, who we just talked about Grandview. I like Franklin in this game, especially because it's in Franklin. I think they win. I think they're going to run all over Little River Academy, but I think Little River Academy will score them. I think Franklin wins like 40-30, 40-35 type of game.
I'm not going to name the score by Franklin, but I think Franklin by 3 to 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
that's Franklin.
Oh, I
this
know.
Year.
I mean, yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, they are 3-2. I mean, if you can't beat Salina, you're crap.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And they have still played Salina better than anybody at Panther Creek.
Yeah.
Man, you know Panther Creek. You think that coach still just sitting there going, just one less turnover. Just one damn less turnover. All right, we'll finish out the 3A with what Coach X has to say.
Wait.
This is where, sometimes Grant cheats.
Right.
Another game that looks good because of records. That has been a theme this week. But this will be a bloodletting.
How did I cheat?
Because that's literally what you said. You said this will be a bloodletting.
Oh, I didn't read.
It's Coach X has very limited use of words.
Oh, okay.
I think he takes our shows and puts them into AI so that they will give give him stuff. I still don't get the mascot of academy. Oh, hey, their school or their school name. Hey, Bob, we need to name our high school. Okay, Steve, how about Academy High? No, I think people will come to the school trying to buy stuff or go camping and hiking. You know, the right stuff at the right price.
Soccer shorts.
You're right, Bob. How about Little River? But how will people know what town we're in? Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. Little River Academy. But what if people think we're a private school? I thought they were a private school for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Screw them, Steve. And we'll be the bumblebees as well, because most people are allergic to that and will be terrified of us.
You got to root for pollinators.
Damn right, Bob.
Right?
Yes. Damn right, Bob. Let's go get a beer. Franklin by 40.
I like the beer part, and I like pollinators.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to finish.
You're so weird, man.
You're so
weird.
weird.
Get on board.
On board what? The cruise that's not a cruise, like at Poolville? Anyway, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Sideline to sideline. One more class to go. That's 4A. Coach X has no class. Sideline to sideline.
Coach Surratt came in 2007. And really what's remarkable about him is how quickly he turned the program around.
The biggest challenge here was just to change the mindset. Obviously, we want a winning culture, but the first thing you got to instill is, toughness. It don't matter if it's volleyball, football, baseball.
He's put Carthage on the map to a great extent.
All right, Terry Vinaigrette Goodwin back here, sideline to sideline, the all-class show. We talked 1A, we talked 2A, we talked 3A. Now it's time to end the show with the last but not the least. Let's talk a little 4A, including the game we were at, as we are in our review section. We went down to Sealy, Texas. First off, to Coach Finley and everybody there. Super nice people.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Man.
Yeah, thank you for having us at the Wolfpack restaurant. Great steaks, great food. Their baked potato is one of the best baked potatoes I've ever had.
The steak, just the sear on the outside of that thing, man.
So lovely.
Mesquite grilled. Best, really good steak.
Yeah, great steak and the everything. Sorry about that. I don't know if I still heard that. The hospitality, the customer service, it was amazing. Just a really great time. I had in my mind, I became a slave to the tape. I was watching the films and thinking, man, this I don't know if this Belleville team can stay around with Sealy. And that,
but you had to, like, going back at it, hindsight's 50-50. Belleville's defense all year.
it's
2020.
Right?
Hindsight is 2020, right?
You said 50-50.
No, I said
No, you
I
said-
meant 2020.
I love that.
Good Lord. I don't think, roll back the tape. I'm throwing the red flag. I'm challenging what you said. I said 2020.
We'll put it in post. But yeah, but you're right. Looking back.
Yeah, Belleville's defense. What a job they did on the Kilo kid, the quarterback at Sealy.
Well, and the crazy thing is the way the first drive started. I mean, Sealy turned it on Brahmas and basically played keep away for the whole first quarter. They converted a couple of fourth downs, and it felt like, okay, yeah, this is what's going to happen. And then the Brahma offense did what the Brahma offense, when they're good, can do, and they beat
you. They beat the Sealy defense in the submission.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't anything. I mean, there was a couple splash plays. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it wasn't like you're just, oh my God, this is so awesome. In fact, they kind of sputtered early. They kind of messed around. Sealy shot the gaps at the right time on a couple of plays and all that. They did everything right. But then you started to realize one of the things about Sealy is they're going to need, and we understand we're seeing them in person against a good Belleville team. So against other teams, they might look completely different. But when we talk about this, we're talking about them 3 rounds deep.
Right.
They're going to need other people around Kilo because he cannot do it himself. His athleticism.
Romeo Castillo, he went out hurt.
Great point. He was big early.
That's the key to this offense for Sealy. If he's in,
That's
it's a
really
different
good point.
ball game. But he did not play half of the snaps.
He had a big first drive, and then he was out for a long time, or not a long, but a few possessions, and he came back, and he looked like he was getting back into it, and then he got banged up and taken off field. I don't think
Sealy
he
has Romeo Castillo in the lineup every week, they're going to be hard to beat. They didn't have it against Belleville. Not saying that's why they lost to Belleville, but if they have Castillo in, they're tough to beat, especially with Kilo. But look, Belleville did a great job just basically giving him no options.
I'm just going to say this, though. The so-called demise of the Belleville Brahmas this year has been greatly exaggerated. If this is the team they put out in the playoffs, they are going to be a hard out.
Oh, yeah. They're sophomores and juniors.
Sophomores
right?
and juniors, man. Very
Look
impressive.
out next year.
Yes.
We're not even talking about next year. They can go far this year.
Exactly. All right, let's swing out west. Canyon Plains beats Canyon 39-10. Look, we had talked about it. Canyon, it's a real big struggle right now. It's weird, too, because they were having a solid season, but because everything that's happened, they lose their head coach. I thought Canyon for the first half played pretty well, and you kind of felt they were either going to come out and never have a chance, or they were going to have that, swing for the fences, get a touchdown early, and they did.
They had a chance in the first half,
but
right?
then West Plains reminds everybody why West Plains is West Plains.
Reed Macon throws for 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Russell kid went for 147 yards.
As much as I'm a huge Reed Macon fan. I think he's the best quarterback in 4A, or at least in the top of it. Again, talking about like Sealy, what helps this offense, and of course, Kane White Tinsley helps receiving, but Slade Russell, 147 yards on the ground. He can do things out of the backfield. He diversifies that offense that at times can be a little too Reed Macon centrist. And he's the guy that, okay, once the linebackers start flowing to Macon first, then you're going to get Russell out of the backfield.
Yeah, they seem a lot like that 80s, 90s 49ers offense.
Yes, that's a really good comparison.
Right?
Yes.
Where, okay, cover us here on one side. You know, there's 3 dimensions to this offense.
Yep.
And if you can cover all 3 dimensions, that's great. But who has the athletes?
Exactly. Especially in
1
today's
through 11 to cover 3 dimensions. And I just don't know how many teams defensively can defend that against West Plains.
No, I totally agree. Brock 41, Eagle Mountain 13. Now, Brock started off the game with like a kickoff return for a touchdown and then a 80-yard. I think Charles Hebler had an 80-yard touchdown. It looked like Brock was going to roll. Give Eagle Mountain credit. They bounced back. They made it 14-13. They used a couple trick plays, but Brock showed in that second half why the Eagles are the Eagles. They wear down Eagle Mountain. We don't talk enough about their run game. They get multiple couple, 150-yard games, but they're one of those teams that where you're not having one guy getting all of it. They're going to spread it out. This week it was Briar McDonald. He had 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Holt Frazier threw for 257 yards and 3 touchdowns. I keep saying it. I know
The
we do.
Hibbler kid, 2 for 96.
Yeah, 2 for 96 again, having that 80-yard touchdown.
Think about this: Eagle Mountain had the really good running back in what's the kid's name?
Yeah, let me look him up.
Oh my gosh, one of the better running backs. Just blew. Just
I got it. Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
But they hold Eagle Mountain to 13 points with this. What's his name? Sladen or
it is Terry Starks.
Yeah, Starks.
I should have known that.
That
sounds like a 70s running back.
Right. But I mean, Starks is a special running back. And for Brock to hold Eagle Mountain with Starks in the backfield, just 13 points, that tells you that they are solid on both sides of the ball. And we're not going to say this too early, but this Brock team might be a little bit more equipped to go up head-to-head against the Carthage. I'm not saying they'll beat Carthage,
but
to make it interesting.
Yeah, and we had this conversation on the road, and I said it. I'm not saying that they will beat them, but I think this is a better Brock team overall this year, and they're younger. That's the scary thing about it. Hey, here's a shocker. Brownwood. Did you have this on the bingo card?
I did not. Brownwood beating Lampasas 42-39.
Look, this is the thing, and we talked a little bit about this in 3A, and we talked about it, great offenses with defenses that you kind of have to drag along. And at times, Lampasas has to drag along this defense. That's been their MO for as in the last 10 years. And you get in these games where you're probably the better team, but your defense can't make a stop. Your offense falters just for 1 or 2 drives, and next thing you know, you're getting upset.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Exactly. See the Dallas Cowboys. That's a great comparison. And Brownwood, and also a Brownwood fan pointed out one thing to me, and they weren't necessarily close losses, but all 3 of their losses are to great teams. Abilene Wiley in 5A, Wall in 2A, La Vega in 4, or Wall in 3A, La Vega in 4A. So maybe we just kind of got wrapped up into how they started.
And that's easy to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And now they put themselves in front for district because they
got this team just north of them that.
No, I'm saying, but they're in front right now. They're 1-0.
District championship at least.
It's not, and we can, when we get to that game in a couple of weeks, we'll talk about it. Of course, I think that's Halloween, and it probably still won't be pretty, but at least there's something to play for other than and now Brownwood, they're second place in that district.
All right, a very interesting team to me, Navasota. They beat Needville 42-35. Needville's a pretty solid team, right?
Yep.
Navasota's now 5-1. Just wanted you to mark that down on your bingo card for later because I don't think we've heard the last of Navasota yet.
All right, for Needville, who had started the year off 3-2 going into this game, and they're 0-1 in district now. Stop me if you've heard this tonight. A great offense. They can score with anybody. They struggled defensively, and they struggled in this game. Navasota, on the other hand, 5-1. Their 1 losses to Sealy at the beginning of the year. Really good wins over Madisonville and 5A Waco. Now they're sitting at 1-0. And this is a district that I know Fort Bend is there, and we've been high on them. A new school already got 5A numbers. But, I mean, they haven't, they've played well against West Orange Star, but we're still kind of confused about West Orange Star. So I think Navasota, I don't think they're the favorite yet, but I think they've announced that they're at least on the same level with Fort Bend.
Yeah.
And especially with Willow Ridge I thought Willow Ridge, again, would drop down and do better. They're terrible. That last week of the season is going to be Navasota versus Fort Bend. That feels like that's going to be 4 district.
All right. Somerset 23, Canyon Lake 7. Now Somerset is 5-1. They play San Antonio Davenport this Friday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Could that be for the district championship?
Yeah, Canyon Lake's really been disappointed. Fredericksburg's been disappointed. I mean, everybody in this district, but the top three, and even Canyon Lake, I still think it's been disappointed at 5-2. Davenport 7-0. Somerset's now 5-1. After that, it goes to crap. We'll talk about the game next week in the next segment, but still a good win from this year or this week. Lavernia, man, they destroy Port Lavaca in the matchup of the two teams that kind of made surprising runs last year in the playoffs. Lavernia looks like the team that's still the real deal, though.
Yeah, Lavernia beats Port Lavaca Calhoun 38-3. Lavernia is what, 5-1. Their only loss was basically one touchdown to Cuero, 49-41. Right. So yeah, I think the Bears are loaded for bear.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Gilmer gets a much needed win against a very improved Pittsburgh team, 36-25. We've talked about it. We don't know if the Buckeyes, if it's just a combination of youth, or is it a combination of youth and some lesser talent than they've had in the last few years? We'll find out here soon. But, man, I mean, I hate to be drastic, but that saved their season. Gilmer is in danger of not making the playoffs this year.
Right.
I think they will, especially with this win, because now they've got a game in hand against Pittsburgh. But, yeah, for the first time in a long time.
But, they make the playoffs, and I think they will. But, man, are they going to – is it going to be an embarrassing first, second round loss like for Gilmer?
Yeah, because you're looking at
this is
Athens.
Not the same Buckeyes that we've seen over the last 20 years.
You're looking at Athens or maybe even Carthage in the first round.
I don't like Gilmer versus Athens.
Oh, I don't either, and I don't like them against
definitely
Carthage.
not against Carthage. All right, Gonzales 34, Lago Vista 28. Gonzales now 5-1. Just mark that down in your book.
Well,
that Gonzales is 5-1 now.
Well, and we've talked about this before. Again, I have a Lago Vista coaches show you can hear each and every week. This district, man, these matchups, 13 4A Division II, and this is, I will read verbatim what Coach Phillips said to me, Creighton Phillips, because we kind of always I always email him the week, Monday,
Did he say off the record?
Usually, no. This is simple. No, this is simple. We were talking about his.
I'm taking the Penn State job. Terry.
We were talking about with them now losing as many games in a row as they have, all of them being literally the same score, 35-28, 34-28. And I had made the point of I never thought I would say this, but the last playoff spot, not the first, will come down probably to y'all, Wimberley, and Navarro. And he said, we need Gerald to beat Wimberley so that we can battle Wimberley for the fourth place spot in the final game of the district.
Wimberley doesn't scare me as much.
Exactly.
Anymore, right? ...
A sentence I never thought would be true. Salado, Gerald, and Gonzales are all the real deal. They've all had a win against, not all of them at the same, but all of them have beat what we thought were the top three teams going in.
Right.
Wimberley, Navarro, and
Gerald might be the big one out of all those.
Look, Gerald is exploding population-wise. They're kind of one of those.
Remember that Prosper team that won the state championship over, what was it, La Vega?
2009?
Yeah. That's a little bit like Gerald.
That's
Not quite
exactly
as much,
like
but
Gerald.
I mean, it's
that's a
lot
really
like
good
Gerald.
comparison. Now, Gerald has a little bit more of a bevy of backs, but Jason Hobbs is an absolute beast. Gerald is the most athletic team in the district. It was always about consistency with them. Alan Harris stepped in, and he has turned this program around. And I think, I'm not saying they're a region threat, but in a region that obviously has no rudder because Wimberley and Navarro aren't the teams we thought they were going to be, I think Gerald's got to be licking their lips thinking we have a chance.
Oh, yeah. I think Gerald could be one of the top three region favorites.
All right, this was one of the shocks of shocks of shocks. The Cuero Gobblers, again, stop me if you've heard this. When your offense is great, but your defense has struggled, you're going to have games where you get beat by a team that you're better than. Cuero was up 35-14 or 21. I've seen two different reports. It looked like it was over. Rockport Fulton runs a slot T. You think, okay, they don't have enough time. And they proceed to break off almost 600 yards of running offense.
What happens to you, Cuero, defensive coordinator? Rockport Fulton, 56 against your defense, and that it's later in the game where a lot of that comes.
Man. Oh, yeah. I don't know if this is just an uh-oh game. I don't know. Now, the great thing for Cuero is they can still, if they beat Sinton this week, district is still, or Sinton this week. They don't play Sinton for a few weeks. I don't know why I said that.
No,
that's Rockport.
This week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Rockport's schedule. But anyway, if Cuero can beat Sinton this week, they still have a chance for district because I don't think Rockport Fulton's all of a sudden figured things out and going to win. No, in saying that, again, their losses by 7 to Orange Grove, by 20 to Kincaid, but Houston Kincaid, that's a different thing. And then by 6 to Cal Allen. Maybe Rockport's the team this year. And again, they did win 12 last year. Maybe they're the team that makes the surprise region run like Lavernia did.
Yeah, could be. All right, Silsbee 41, Answer Finette 21. Silsbee's quarterback, Caleb Johnson, ran for 178 yards, 3 touchdowns on 18 carries, and Tazavian Hafford ran for 90 yards on 19 carries. The Silsbee defense had 5 sacks on the night. This Silsbee defense is pretty darn good.
We keep saying it. Don't look at that 4-2 record. Their losses were back-to-back to Westbrook and Hitchcock, a great 3A team. We'll talk. Of course, we're going to go see Hitchcock next week. Man, they start district off by beating one of the what we think is one of the bigger ones in the district. You've got all for them, but you've got West Orange Stark, and then you've got district. And West Orange Stark's kind of floundered over the last couple of weeks. We talked about them a few weeks ago, and then we kind of, left them, and man, they've struggled. So great win for Silsbee.
Yeah. All right, Kilgore 28, Chapel Hill 7. Let me tell you, man, Kilgore scored 21 straight points in the second half to pull away, and this Kilgore defensive front dominated all night long. The pass rush got after Malik Gee, the quarterback at Chapel Hill, forcing 3 interceptions. Chapel Hill just made a statement in this game.
You think?
Yeah.
You mean Kilgore.
Or, I'm sorry, Kilgore, not Chapel Hill.
By the way, I thought Chapel Hill did make a statement. They hung around after giving up.
Yeah, but I mean, Chapel Hill hangs their hat on scoring points.
Yeah, and they couldn't in this one, exactly.
Came across one of the top 2 to 3 defenses in all of Class 4A.
The only thing I'm a little concerned about with Kilgore is the offense has sputtered at times. I would like to see a little bit more consistency.
They did that last year too,
exactly,
and found their
stroke when they got to the playoffs.
And went to Austin, Arlington. So.
Yeah, they went to Austin. That's why they lost. They were
the wrong place.
All right, let's finish up in the DFW/East Texas. Salina 38, Sulphur Springs 14. Sulphur Springs took an early lead, 7-0. I do want to point out, though, and I'm not saying this changes the game, but it's an impact. Sulphur Springs everything quarterback literally twisted his ankle on the first play after a 10-yard gain.
Yeah.
He couldn't play the rest of the game. And this almost became a mirror of what we saw last year when we went there, where Sulphur Springs could play with Salina at other facets of the game, but their lack of a quarterback was just so glaring obvious. Same thing here.
Salina scores 31 straight points after Sulphur Springs took a 7-0 lead.
Yep.
And then Salina, after the quarterback goes down, Salina scores 31 straight points to take the 31-7 lead at the half. And after that, Salina's not going to look back. Even Kone, the running back for Salina, 114 yards, 24 carries. White Villarreal, 96 yards on 7 catches. So, I mean, Salina did what Salina does, but how much is that with Salina or Sulphur Springs starter going out early?
Yeah, I feel bad for Sulphur Springs on that. All right, let's finish up the show. After we did the review, we're going to do the 4A preview, including Coach X back in play. We'll start in that same district. Again, this is one of those that sounds good on paper. Lake Dallas, the Falcons 4-2. Offensively, very talented with Cash Davis at quarterback, Kevin O'Hara and Bryce Thurman, the running backs. Lake Dallas has been a surprise team. It's saying
pretty on paper, but I don't think they can handle Panther Creek. They're Lake Dallas's defense is going to get stretched far and wide, man. I mean, Graylin Fry, if he's coming back, right, at quarterback, he might not. But if he's not healthy, then Tristan Schramm, the backup quarterback, proved last week.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then Jalen Lott, among the best receivers in the whole state of Texas, all classifications.
Yeah, and again, Lake Dallas on the air, their losses are to Brewer and to Paris, just, to kind of give you that comparison. And I know you can't take it for word, but it is a calibration. They lose to Paris, who Panther Creek beat last week, 51-12. So again, pretty story for Lake Dallas. Might be a playoff team in this one. They're going to need help because they did lose to Paris, but I think they're on par with Aubrey. So they might be a playoff team. And to be fair, being a playoff team in this district, I think you're probably going to do solid in the next district because all you got to do is really avoid Alvarado.
Yeah.
Which they wouldn't because they'd probably be the 4th place team. But anyway, let's see what Coach X has to say. Lake Dallas versus Frisco Panther Creek. What is the difference between a panther and a cougar? Is one black and the other is blonde? Are all panthers black? Whoa.
But isn't it like Panther Creek is the Panthers, but Lake Dallas is like the Falcons?
Yeah, that's Falcons. That's still not.
Why are we doing? Oh, let him go. I'm going to let him hang himself.
No, I think he was just asking what's the difference between a panther and a cougar.
Okay.
No, what's worse is the Frisco school that has the name of the trail as their name and their mascot at the same time.
Katy Trail?
No, whatever it is. Frisco. I used to live over there.
Trail.
Yeah, Lebanon Trail. I used to live over there. Anyway, or is that
left off of Lebanon Trail? Lebanon Trail.
There's a Lebanon Trail, whatever their thing.
Yeah.
Is. Not Lebanon, but just Lebanon Trail.
It's just a lot of like terrorists, Lebanon.
Wow. No, there's a peace deal now. Let it go, bro.
It's like a lot of landmines when you go walk on the trail.
Walk on the trail.
IEDs.
To the golf course. All right.
Or IUDs.
Coach,
what's the one that prevents pregnancy, and what's the one that blows you up?
I mean, I guess technically,
One of them,
I just want to point out an IED probably would prevent a pregnancy. I'm just saying. I'm just making that point.
Blew that urethra right across these.
Do you think Coach X sees when we get into his stuff and we just like lose focus? I feel like every weekend.
I feel like it's you that does that.
You do it all the time. I feel like every weekend or every week when he writes these, he wears what's his name? What's Edgar Allan Poe. He sees some fake absinthe with his sugar, and he sits there and he thinks he's about to just write this literary goal.
Or he's Ernest Hemingway with his whiskey and 15 cats
Hunter S.
around
Thompson.
him.
On every drug no
stroking his
demand.
beard and writing this, and then we just crap on it.
Crap on it totally. Anyway, the Panther Creek Panthers. If Lake Dallas did that, they would be the Lake Dallas drunken uncles. That will pull the tub too fast when you're trying to just hang out and not cry.
Tube.
Oh, well, he spelled the tub. Pull the tub.
Tube, like
I don't know, man. It's Lake Dallas. They might use it. They might use a tub for that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's like 2 exits from where I live.
Exactly. Case in point, what I mean. We both live on a lake. We know what we see. Just if you ever want to have fun, come to Rowlett, go to the racetrack on Saturday and Sunday during lake season. You're going to have some fights. You're going to have some drop cases of beers, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, you know what? Sorry, dude. We lost the focus on that one. All right, let's move to the next one. We'll stay in the district. Paris versus Sulphur Springs.
Ooh, this is a nice one, man.
Well, especially if Sulphur Springs' quarterback's hurt.
Rebound, right, from losing their running back and losing a game. I swear to God, they had circled on their calendar, right, when two-a-day started. I guarantee you Sulphur Springs had that. Paris, very athletic. They've taken it to shorts a couple of times. I think they upset Sulphur Springs.
Okay, so I like everything you said. First off, this is one of those underrated rivalries. This is too East. This is like the East Texas. In fact, this is the way they should have done this district. They should have allowed Paris and Sulphur Springs to be an all-star team and just travel to DFW to play everybody else. I would agree with you.
Might not have been enough against Salina, though.
Oh, probably still wouldn't. I would agree with you on everything you say, except for I think they have the out of our quarterback got hurt on the first play, so this isn't as. But what I'm saying is it becomes.
I don't think they think of that.
Oh, I do. I think you do. I think you do.
Got their doors blown off.
But again, I think you can go whether, and I'm not saying they're right, but I'm saying you have been given a built-in excuse. It's not as big of a, and I agree with you about the circling of the thing. I'm just saying I think they still beat Paris. I think that they're as long as the quarterback plays. If not, we're talking.
If the quarterback plays, they beat Paris. If not, Paris beats Sulphur Springs. I'm taking Paris in a close one.
All right, let's stay out in East Texas. Kilgore versus Lindale.
Oh man,
I want to say this
tasty one here.
I want to say this real quick.
Lindale's offense.
Well,
and Kilgore's offense is not as bad as.
I didn't say it was bad. I said it's been inconsistent.
Okay, but their defense is top 4A.
And I'm trying to give you a compliment, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Said during the Big R's preview show, you said it on the air, and then after when we were eating and just kind of hanging out and finishing up the day, you said, I really think people are sleeping on Lindale this year. And they have come out 6-0, beat Van, beat Gilmer, throttled Chapel Hill. I mean, 64.
This is a big game. I think it's a sleeper in the state. I think everybody in the Tyler, Kilgore, Longview area realize how big of a game this is statewide. I don't think anybody realizes how big
I think a lot of people think what we've been saying on other games that this is Lindale has a pretty record, but when they play this game, it's going to look different. I'm calling the upset now.
Ooh.
I think Lindale wins. I think Lindale does enough offensively. And man, Emilian Johnson, first off, great name at running back. And you just got a big offensive line. And we saw Carthage at times with their big offensive line push Kilgore, which is a very fast, athletic,
late in the game.
Yeah, a little bit smaller line than, and I think Lindale is able to play enough defense on a Kilgore offense that's been stagnant and give me the Eagles by 7.
I think the quickness of the interior of this Kilgore defense is going to give Lindale some fits.
I totally agree with you.
I think Kilgore will win this game, though I do think it's close. And this Kilgore Lindale game could be
a repeat.
Whoever makes that one play.
Oh yeah, great point. And I do think this is a one possession game.
I think Kilgore can make that play on defense and on offense, but I really think they can make it on defense. I like Kilgore in a very close one, but I like your Lindale pick because I can see where you're coming from.
All right, let's go to Livonia versus Bay City. The Black Cats 5-1, 1-0 in district. Livonia 5-1, 1-0 in district. I think that
I like Livonia in this one.
Dadgummit, I thought you were going to go
push
Bay
them
City.
around. Livonia is going to push Bay City around.
I like Bay City this year, but they're one big game against a quality opponent. They got the doors beat off of them by Sealy. A good team, but still got the doors beat off of them. I like Livonia in this game as well. A game I never thought we would talk about. We kind of talked about it earlier.
Yeah, who would have thought Wimberley would be 3-3, first of all?
And every one of those games being a one possession, half of those games being white knucklers. They did kind of get throttled last week by Salado. I like Gerald, and I kind of don't even know if this is close.
I think Gerald by 14-21.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just hoping it for Lago Vista. Hey, coaches shows are always much more enjoyable when your teams have a playoff chance. But no, I think the Cougars.
I think Gerald's just good.
Yeah, I think they're the real deal. All right, here's
they
one.
Still haven't snuck in the top 10 yet.
Oh, hang on, let me make sure. I might have. Oh no, he didn't. Okay, he has.
You know what? They might sneak into our top 10 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we got to do that. I totally forgot to post that last week. Thank you for sending them. You did them, but I just totally forgot to post it. All right, let's go to Sinton versus Cuero. You kind of asked me right before we began recording. We always kind of have a cool down before we start. You said, does the Cuero loss take a little bit of the shine off? I don't think so. I legitimately, as of now, I am saying this. I think Cuero just got caught with their pants down. I think they got up on Rockport Fulton by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, thought it was over, and the Pirates are swinging for the fence. They kept driving. I'm going to say that that's an excuse game, but if they're going to allow Rockport Fulton, who does a different offense, but allow that many yards, Micah Green, the Sinton running back, is out salivating for what he's going to do against them.
Yeah, Micah Green's averaging 262 yards a game on the ground, right?
Yep.
Quincy Best is really good quarterback. Sean Hughes, really good receiver. Best Hughes is a great quarterback receiver matchup down there in South Texas. But, look, Cuero, I think Cuero will come back down to earth, right? Jackson Marie's thrown for over 1,500 yards so far this year and has ran for 460. Camelo Perez at running back and Walter Dietz at receiver. I know this Cuero defense has struggled a little bit, and they're going to struggle some against Green and that Sinton offense, but I think Cuero, this is at home. I think Cuero will right the ship and get the win in a very close game. This could be a classic, though.
Oh, I think the winner has to score 50.
Yeah,
I think both of these teams have.
But the winning defense is probably going to not give up any less than 40.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I like Sinton, but I agree with you.
You do like Sinton,
but this is going to come down to one possession.
Yeah.
So it's more of, I think we can pick the game. It's just going to be hard to pick who wins. All right, Coach X says, did the Pirates drink Jose Cuero, or did they only drink rum? There has to be some Mexican Pirates, right? That said, I'm not going to be a pirate stereotype. I'm going to go to.
You know how many Mexicans I've seen at Long John Silver's? And they have that little pirate hat thing. Not the Mexicans, but the. Never mind. Go ahead. Kind of racist, to be honest with you. I feel a little uncomfortable.
You're the one that walked in it, but so you're saying that you just walk into Long John Silver's and a bunch of Mexicans are just wearing pirate hats?
Or Captain D's.
Captain D.
Are there any more Captain D's anymore?
There was one in Rockwall, but I think it changed to something. I think it's still a seafood place, but it's not Captain D's. All right, so let me go back to
Red Lobster.
That said, I am not going to be a pirate stereotype. Coach X says I'm going to be a Mexican stereotype. The problem is you can't wear a sombrero on the high seas. I wouldn't think it would get blown off your head because that's a big hat. But then again, a pirate hat's a big hat too. But it only has 3 corners, whereas a sombrero is a big circle. I will take the Gobblers. I feel like
I think the pirate hat is more aerodynamic, so it didn't blow it off. It's sombrero, yeah. Totally.
All right, let's go to East Texas. This is another one. Well, you and I would have had it because we said in the dark horse and the big R's, we thought Zach Carroll and Athens has a really talented team down there.
Yeah.
But man, it's a tough one. They've got to go up against Cuero, but Athens has the
Carthage.
Well, yeah, I said Cuero. Give me Carthage, but Athens has the talent to make it mucky early with David Robinson, their quarterback. He's ran for over 700 or thrown for over 700. He's ran for over 300. Emmanuel Moore, big yards per catch. I think it's around 18. But again, dude,
they're facing a Carthage defense that gives up about 10 points a game on average.
And half of that,
a lot of those are trash points, right? KJ Edwards, a running back, Jet Surratt, a quarterback, JD Edwards. Carthage is going to. Athens is pretty at 5-1, and I know we said they're a dark horse, and they are still a dark horse, even better than a dark horse right now. But they're up against a different animal in Carthage. Carthage will pretty much name their score. Athens will be okay, but Carthage is going to do what Carthage does, and they will leave no doubt here.
I think Carthage will name their score, but I think this will be the toughest game Carthage has had since Kilgore. And that's not saying much.
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
I don't think it's 45-0 at half. Carthage is probably 45.
If Carthage wants it to be 45-0, it will be.
Okay, I think Athens is better enough to not just completely.
I just think you have to be a lot better.
Oh yeah, you have to be perfect, times perfect, and then hope you get all the bounces right.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not in any way saying Athens has a chance. I'm just saying I think we'll at least look at the score and go, okay, that wasn't that bad.
I mean, if Carthage plays with their food, it could be a little close, I guess. If Carthage just comes out and wants to do what they want to do, it's over from kickoff. I'm telling you.
I love it. Coach X has the same theme we've had. Oh, this is a cute game to put on the sheet because you say, oh, Athens is 4-1 and Carthage is 6-0. So this has to be a good game. It's not. Carthage will beat these dudes by 28, and that's not all. I think that we need to start a series where Athens has to play Paris, Troy, and Florence. In fact, they'll have to play against each other. We could call it the We Are Better Than Europe Bowl. Troy versus Athens. Think of the historical significance there.
Oh, Carthage, dude, if they played that, they could have a Carnival Cruise football thing where they go to Europe in Troy, Athens.
Why Carnival Cruise though?
Okay, MSC.
Or
I don't know.
fly.
What's your favorite cruise line?
Just fly.
Because flying's so stupid. You can fly, but why not cruise? God.
Wait, what type of cruising are we talking about?
I'm sorry.
Al Pacino cruising movie back in the late 70s. All right, let's finish
I'm just coming up with a method of travel, and you're gonna kick me in the nuts.
You're just in a weird mood tonight, man.
Sorry, I don't feel good.
You haven't felt good for like the last 10 years.
Threw up last week during the show.
Twice. This is my favorite thing. He's like, man, I got to really lay off processed meat. What'd you eat for lunch? Jersey Mike Italian. Man, I really need to lay off the drink.
And I forgot to tell you, I took the meat off, or the bread away and the meat off, and just like double fisted meat.
Well, you're on the carnivore. You're on the carnivore diet. That's all. You're trying to
do processed meat carnivore.
And it's like, man,
if I eat a hot dog or something, or like processed meat, oh man.
And then you're like, man,
I through a screen door.
You need to lay off the liquor. So what are you doing? Oh, pour me a drink. We're about to start a show. And then you wonder, you're going to wake up tomorrow and go, I just don't understand, Kelly. Why am I always feeling bad?
Hey, and what do you know about gout?
Oh, man, we are getting to that age. All right, let's finish it up. Somerset, the Bulldogs taking on San Antonio Davenport. Somerset's had a great.
Might go see Davenport in the next couple of weeks, by the way.
The problem with them them, and we talked about this the other day. It's really hard to talk about them because they haven't played a tough schedule. Not that they have to. And then their district has been kind of a disappointment. So it's hard to circle games.
Yeah.
This is one of them. And again, I promise you, we didn't try this. The broken record of this game looks way better on paper. Somerset does have a good quarterback in Caleb Flores. He's averaging almost 190 yards game passing. Malachi Iverson is really solid, but Davenport is just so deep. But Davenport's in 5A numbers, folks. And not only that, they have talent. Tristan Torres, he's thrown for 1,200 yards.
Tristan Torres is really darn solid.
Barrett
right?
Fallon, he's already ran for 1,100 yards, and we're talking about in a lot of games where he's sitting in the second half and not getting stopped. And then, of course, maybe their best player of all is Caden Scott.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see Caden Scott truly unleashed until they need to in the playoffs. I love that Somerset is here. They're a surprise. They're 2-0 in district. Control their playoff spot, but at the end of the day, I think Davenport's just too much for them.
Yeah, I like Davenport in a close one here. I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
I think it's going to be a blowout.
Do you?
Yeah.
I think Somerset's that good. I don't think it's going to be not necessarily a blowout, but I do see Davenport winning.
All right. That is going to do it for our extravaganza one-show-arama. I think that went pretty well, under 2 hours. Had a lot of fun talking football. Again, want to remind y'all we're going to be going to Paradise this week, so if you're there for Beaster or Paradise, please say hi to us. If you'd like to add to the wall of stuff, just reach out to us, Grant and Terry at S2Sport.com. Any questions, thoughts, or comments, use the same email. Go to our Facebook at Grant and Terry. I'm sorry, Sideline. Go to our Twitter at Grant and Terry. And until week 9, he's Grant, I'm Terry. This has been Sideline to Sideline, brought to you by NeuroGuard Plus on L4 Media.
Sitting in my mind.